Minister, thank you very much for being with us and taking your time.
Thank you for inviting.
Thank you. So let's start with the ongoing war on Gaza. This is very pressing. How do you see, and Israel sees, the long-term vision for the Strip, given that Israel is insisting on eliminating Hamas and refusing and rejecting all other alternative motivations?
The war can end tomorrow. The war could also end yesterday. It is a very simple way that the Gaza Strip will demilitarize, Hamas will lay its arm, and the hostages will be back. Very simple way, and by the way, it's an international consensus that Hamas cannot rule Gaza anymore. But Hamas is trying to play tricks. Okay, we will not be the government, but we will be still the strongest military force in the Strip. And that's how we will be able to continue to our war against Israel. And this is unacceptable. We will not allow another October 7. And therefore, we would like to end this war. I think it is possible. I think this is what the citizen protests in Gaza are pleading. Hamas out and the war. They say it, not us. In Jabalia, in Bet Lahia, we see the residents of Gaza Strip themselves begging for that.
What is your vision after all? Because the war is still going on and Hamas is not changing its mind and it's still there. Even after the comeback of the escalation, Hamas is still active. The hostages are still not freed, and also the rockets are still going towards Israel.
The war will not be over until all the hostages will come back and until Hamas will be demilitarized. And this is something very clear. We had, of course, the ceasefire because we want to have our hostages back, but we are serious about the objectives of the war. We are ready also to achieve these objectives, not in a war, because war is not an ideology. We are ready to achieve the same goals by political means, but we are very decisive to achieve these goals.
Mm-hmm. Still, what are you bringing to the table? Because we have like Egypt's plan that you rejected. We have Trump's plan that many say it's unrealistic and describe it even as war crimes. So,
no, I don't think
what is realistic and realistic scenario?
Let's speak about the Trump plan. What is realistic? If someone wants to immigrate from his free will, from his free choice, is it not realistic? It can be realistic in Syria, it can be realistic in Afghanistan, but it's not realistic when we are speaking about the residents of Gaza. I'm telling you, we know that a lot of people want to immigrate. So if there are people who are willing to immigrate, and on the other hand, you have countries that are really agree to accept them, it is moral, it is human, and it is practical. But of course, this is about the Trump plan. What will happen afterwards? I believe we will have a transitional period of time when probably we will have trustees of international board or with moderate Arab countries, and underneath local Palestinians. We are not looking to control the civil life of the people in Gaza. Our sole interest in Gaza Strip is our security.
Mm-hmm. But displacement is not new for Palestinians. They've tried it before and they never got back to their homes and to their lands. So what are the guarantees this time, especially that the situation is very different than Syria and Afghanistan and other, because there is a difference between oppression, fleeing oppression, and occupation at the same time. So,
no, we are not speaking about an enforced displacement. We're speaking about one thing which exists in President Trump's plan: free choice. The free choice which is given to any person on earth should be given also to Palestinians from Gaza, because they are also human beings. And I can tell you that in my accounts in social media, I have a lot of people from Gaza asking that they want to go out. So why should they be locked in a jail if they want to go out? And if there will be country who will be ready to accept. This is the unmoral thing.
But many says that there is no free will or voluntarily displacement under bombardment and siege.
But first of all, who told you that there won't be any ceasefire? We had ceasefire. The Trump's plan was brought when we had temporary ceasefire. The question is, are there any conditions in which the will of the individual, of the Palestinian individual, will be respected? Some say no, we will put him in a jail and we will not let him go out, as much as the Palestinian refugees camps in Arab states were kept for decades in order to be a political tool against the state of Israel. While in any other case in the world, refugees are not more than 25 years. But some Arab states denied citizenship for decades and decades from these Palestinians in order that they will be a political tool against Israel. I'm saying we don't want to look at the person in Gaza as a political tool, and he should not be hostage of Hamas. He has his own free will and free choice that should be respected, if there will be bombardment and if there won't be bombardment.
But it's their land.
Again, if someone wants to go out from his free will you deny it?
Mm-hmm. Because
will you deny it?
It's not about me, it's about them.
But I don't want, as I said it very clearly, we are not for enforcing displacement, but we do agree to respect free will and free choice of individuals.
Mm-hmm. Because even those people, they are like from 48 and also from 67, they are still dreaming about coming back. Even if the situation in some Arab countries is difficult for them, but they are dreaming to come back while the situation has changed in real life. They have no place to come back now. So what is going to be different this time for Hamas, for people in Gaza fleeing Hamas, as you say? Where are you going to put 2 million or 2.5 million Gazans? Where? Especially that we
are not going to put them anywhere. If someone wants to immigrate from his own free will, and there is a country which is ready to accept him, we will respect that and facilitate that. This is it. The others will probably stay.
So are you working on the field now to make this plan working?
As I mentioned, and I can repeat it one more time, if there will be Palestinians in Gaza that will want to immigrate, and there will be countries who will be ready to accept, we will respect that. We will facilitate that.
And if they refuse, they will die?
No, I didn't say that, no.
Because the war is going on.
It's Hamas' fault the war is going on. Who opened the war? Hamas. Who attacked on October 7? Hamas. Who is pushing now for war? Hamas. Hamas is pushing the war because he refused to release 59 of our hostages. Hamas is pushing for war because he's not ready to disarm. And this is not what I say. It's the people in Gaza, in Jabalia and in Deir al-Balach and in Bet Lahia that says Hamas out, stop the war. They totally understand the connection between Hamas and the war. Let me remind you, we withdrew totally from Gaza Strip. We dismantled all the settlements there. We dismantled all the military camps there. We even dismantled the graves from the cemeteries there. So there was Gaza Strip that Palestinians could use in order to meet their aspirations. And what happened? Hamas took over and turned it to a terror kingdom. There will no future for Hamas, for a Gaza Strip with Hamas in power. It is very clear, and mostly it is clear to the residents of Gaza itself.
Mm-hmm. And who enabled Hamas?
Hamas took by force on 2007. They throw Fatah people from the roofs. When we withdrew from Gaza Strip, the PA was the strongest military force, and they controlled Gaza. Within a year and a half, Hamas took over in a coup d'etat by force and killed Fatah people, and ever since he controls Gaza.
Mm. And also this leads to what is the alternative? Because we said that you are in positive for Trump's proposition, the Arab countries, the Palestinians refuse it. And we have Egypt's plans that you reject. And you refuse also the PA. So what is acceptable for you?
Now, we want to emphasize the content of possible solution. And as I said, free will of immigration is one component. It's not the only component. But it is very important that there will be a de-radicalization process in Gaza Strip. With the current Palestinian policies, it will not work. We saw what happened. I mean, we established the Palestinian authorities in the 90s. And what we saw until today is they continue to pay for terrorists. They continue to engage incitement. They have a legal warfare against Israel. So will they do the job in terms of de-radicalization of Gaza Strip? I doubt it. But we also see it from a practical point of view. We saw what happened in 2005 when we withdrew. The PA has lost the Gaza Strip. They are even not controlling fully the territories they should control today. So I guess there will be a transitional period of time with an international trustee, including Arab states, that will be on top of local Palestinian address there. And during this time, a lot of things should be done in terms of de-radicalization. And then we can have a better future. With the current players, we saw what happened. We brought the PA to Gaza Strip in the 90s. Was it successful? We withdrew on 2005 from Gaza Strip and Hamas took over. Was it successful? For the Gazans, was it successful? We did these two huge exercises, historical moves, but they were failed. So we probably must learn from our history and try something else.
Mm-hmm. So Israel didn't enable Hamas for this long, for 17 years, like transferring money to Hamas just to make the PA weak, and this is the result of it.
No, the PA cannot blame us from losing Gaza Strip. When Hamas took over on 2007, the PA was dramatically, strongly, from a military point of view, they were much stronger than Hamas. So they lost Gaza Strip. We withdrew from Gaza Strip on 2005. This is the facts, and not facts from a previous century, from 20 years ago. And unfortunately, PA lost Gaza Strip for Hamas. This is what happened.
Mm-hmm. And now there is a veto for PA as well. So this leads me to ask you, what about the Palestinians? Do they have any voice in this vision?
I don't care. Yes, of course. I don't care who will be. I care what. And what do I mean by that? I want Palestinians who will not be engaged in terrorism and incitement. If these two conditions are met, I don't care who will be the person. I'm not judging between different persons. But for us, it is very important to have a Palestinian rule without terrorism and without incitement. And I think it's a logical thing that any country would demand, and especially country that was faced October 7 and also before October 7 faced so many terror attacks from Gaza Strip. So this is what we want. We are not saying who, we are saying what.
Mm-hmm. But also, Prime Minister already said we don't want Hamastan or Fathistan. So you have a big issue with the PA or Mahmoud Abbas being there. So it's an issue of who?
We gave both a chance, and we saw what they did, and we saw and we see what the PA is doing these days in terms of paying for terrorists and terrorist families, inciting in schools, in kindergartens, in mosques, in media. Is it acceptable? Inciting to kill Jews? Conducting legal warfare all around the world against Israel. So we say, if this is the PA, we don't have to pay with our blood to give them Gaza Strip after we fought there. No, we will be very determined about the conditions. And if the PA want to disconnect from terrorism, from incitement, let them do that, and let's speak again afterwards. They are not doing that.
If you're speaking about de-radicalization, that means that you are going to stay there for a long time, especially it's about the idea itself. And also if you're saying about this terroristic ideas or radical ideas, what about, like, we found like ministers, Israeli ministers asking and demanding to target civilians and also like shutting a nuclear bomb on Gaza?
No one is calling to target civilians. We don't target civilians. We target the terrorists. We know that in wars, tragedies happens, and we have collateral damage when you hit civilians that intentionally are acting from a civilian envelope. I mean, they are targeting civilians and hiding after civilians. We are not targeting civilians. We are targeting the terrorists. But they could have done something else, you know? Instead of going down to their tunnels underneath the ground, they should give this offer to the citizens and stay above the ground and fight against our soldiers. They didn't do that. They kept the citizens up and they went down in order to protect themselves, not to protect the life of the citizens. They don't care about the life of the civilians in Gaza. And every person in Gaza knows it. They don't want to protect. If they want to protect, they could have reached another agreement and release the hostages that are illegally kidnapped from our communities. Why they are not doing so? They are the sole responsible for Israeli casualties and for Palestinian casualties, only Hamas.
How do you explain the plus 50,000 deaths of civilians in Gaza, the plus 200,000 of injuries? How do you explain the lack of medication, vaccines for kids and babies, the cutting the supplies, water supplies and electricity?
You're asking four questions in one question, and this is a problem because at the end of the question I don't remember what was the questions.
So did Israel fail to protect civilians in Gaza during this war?
No, I think if you will check war against terror in Raqqa, in Mosul, you will always find civilian casualties because the terrorists, unfortunately, are hiding behind the civilians. And you know, in our army, every objective is checked by the legal staff, and we are, if sometimes we don't bomb if we think there will be a huge collateral damage. But yes, when they are hiding after civilians, it's a tragedy. It's painful. But what shall we do? Should we let Hamas bomb us, throw missiles on our country as they are doing for 20 years without trying to fight against them? And another suggestion I suggest, don't count on the health ministry of Gaza, of Hamas, of the numbers. The numbers are inaccurate always.
But there have been like reports from the UN as well. But
don't count on UN.
Yes.
On UN, because UN a lot of times counts on Hamas propaganda.
Yeah, and let's move to the big picture now in the situation in the region in general. How do you see it? About, if I'm going to ask about the prospects of peace.
Well, it's, you know, we've learned from late Menachem Begin, the Prime Minister of Israel, that peace is inevitable. You can avoid war, but peace ultimately is inevitable. So I believe we will reach peace, and we have peace intentions, but we see the different countries around us. Let's speak about Lebanon for a few minutes. We would like to have peace with Lebanon. I think we don't have any real conflict with the state of Lebanon. The problem is Hezbollah, which is an Iranian representative that took over Lebanon. Lebanon stayed under Iranian occupation for decades. And if we will reach to the minute when the Lebanon army and the government of Lebanon will be stronger than Hezbollah, I think we will have new prospects. Maybe it is too early for them today to talk about peace, but we really want peace. And I think it will be achievable in the future. But the condition should be when Iran will stop occupying Lebanon by Hezbollah. This is the obstacle for peace there.
So how do you see in Lebanon, speaking of Lebanon, do you see the future of the ceasefire, especially that Lebanon officially is accusing Israel of not respecting and leading and heading operations and
we operate.
Targets. And there's still points where Israel is still...
We operate when we are threatened by terror attacks from Lebanon, by Hezbollah. And for example, Lebanon committed itself that Hezbollah terrorists won't be south into the Litani River. Unfortunately, there is still Hezbollah terrorists south into the Litani River. Hezbollah must be dismantled. If we will not have terror threat, no problem for us. I mean, when we attack Hezbollah objective, it's not against the people of Lebanon. It's for their future, because these people are the ones that caught Lebanon in an Iranian war for decades. And the fact that today we see new government in Lebanon, and we see a ceasefire, and we see Hezbollah weaker, is because of our activity during the last war. I hope that the government of Lebanon will fulfill its obligation, and we will not have to act against Hezbollah, because they will do that. We clearly want them to do that.
So what are your demands, your vision for a peace with Lebanon?
Only security. It's our only demand.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have a conflict, a real conflict with Lebanon. We don't have. By the way, in the past, in 1983, we signed peace treaty with Lebanon. We would like to have a full normalization with Lebanon. It's in our interest, but there is some terrorist groups, mainly Hezbollah, but also some Palestinian terrorist factions operating from Lebanon, and they shouldn't do that. If Lebanon will be sovereign on its territory, and the army of Lebanon will be the only military force, I'm sure there won't be any hostilities. So this is the task. I believe it's a mutual interest of the Lebanese people and the Israeli people.
Mm-hmm. We've seen Ortagos in Lebanon these times, and do you think there is another scenario of Hochstein, the maritime deal, just like the land borders deal, without normalization, maybe as a first step?
It is possible. I don't exclude that. We said we are ready to negotiate on borders. We are ready. It's not really borders because we have a few disputes. It's not big disputes. It's generally speaking, we are based on the blue line that was designed during Israel withdrawal from Lebanon on the year 2000, basically. And there are also issue of some prisoners we caught during this war, which also can be negotiated. And the truth is that it's the decision of Lebanon whether they are ready for normalization. When they will be ready for that, we will be ready to do that.
How about Syria and situation there? And some accuse Israel of exploiting this situation there and trying to destabilize the new power.
We didn't intervene when the coup d'etat occurred in Damascus. We didn't intervene with that. For us, the most important thing is our security, is the southern part of Syria, which is bordering with us, is to prevent from terrorists to be near our border, because we don't want October 7 to happen in this front, in the Golan Heights. For Syria, it is the decision whether they have peace intentions towards Israel, whether they want to be, I hope they will have this kind of intentions. For the time being, our impression is that Turkey is trying to control Damascus in a way. And we hear certain statements coming from Turkey which are not so positive about the state of Israel. So if that will prevail, it will influence Syria's direction. If Syria will choose to go on an independent path respecting Israel, maybe we'll have a good future. We would like to have a good future also with Syria.
What worries you about the influence of Turkey? You didn't have any issues when Iran was very influential.
We had issues with Iran. We had, as you know, we worked intensively and we attacked intensively Iranians inside Syria, weapon systems. They tried during a lot of time to create from Syria a base, another base for their activity against Israel. And we strongly oppose that. Not only that, the fact that Assad was toppled is a result of our war against Hezbollah and Iran. They were weakened, and they were the two powers that kept Assad in power since the civil war in Syria. And when they became weaker, Assad fell. So, of course, we don't have any problem with that. We were happy to see that Iran was weakened in that front. But the question is, will Syria now adopt independent strategy, or again will rely on external force which will not bring more stability? This is the question. This is the real question. But the Syrians will decide. From our point of view, we would like to have peaceful relations with Syria. Our main concern is security, and it's for the Syrians to decide about their future.
What worries you about Turkey? What worries you about Turkey?
We heard their statements. If someone saying for the Eid al-Fitr something like the Turkish leader said, it is unacceptable. It demonstrates not goodwill, okay? So we had years with good relations with Turkey, better years. Unfortunately, today, I don't know if it is from internal reasons or from other reasons, the rhetoric is totally changed. And it is not positive from our point of view, to say the least.
Mm-hmm. How do you see Israel in the Middle East? As a general idea, is it a partner or just like prioritizing security? How do you see the Abraham Accords, for example? Yeah. Is it like hold now, yeah. And what's the future?
Well, first of all, we are speaking here in the Med Conference in the Emirates, and I'm here. I was here in January. I came again after a very short time. We have great relations, great trade relations. Very, very successful relations within a very short time. And I want to mention another thing. From all the countries that signed peace agreements or normalization agreements with Israel, from all these Arab countries, no one broke during this tough war. And I know it was, there was, in Arab public opinion, it was harder for them during that period of time. But no one out of them broke relations with us. And I think it is a very important achievement that demonstrates that all parties understand that cooperation is better for a prosperous region. And we would like to have even more partners to the Abraham Accords. And I think it is possible. Maybe it's hard to do that during the war in Gaza, but I'm sure that after this war will end, and it will end one day, we can do that. We can widen this big camp. It's not a small camp altogether, it's a big camp.
Gidon Saar, Minister of Foreign Affairs of Israel. Thank you very much for this.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Very much.